Charlie, you didn't get to go to Brighton SEO there.
No.
Because you're having a kid, right?
Yeah, I couldn't do that to Rach really. She's an SEO as well, so to go up on the beers and to her favourite SEO conference would have been a bit harsh really. But no, there's plenty more Brighton SEOs to come. So.
And you're probably pretty busy just now anyway. New job at Misguided, so.
Yeah, pretty busy. I've done Brighton SEO quite a lot. I've spoken a couple of times, but I was appointed quite a lot as well.
You've spoken down there as well,
Yeah, I spoke a few times actually. Well, I was due to speak once as well, and I had to go and have surgery. But yeah, I think I did one of the first ones at the new venue. So it's always a great weekend though, isn't it?
Yeah. Was our first one? We've not been.
Was it your first one?
Yeah, it was our first one there.
So on our first one, it was at a place called the Brighton Dome, which if you go into the town, it's that kind of like old-fashioned looking building in the middle of that park, and you go across the road. Right. Really small, but it was really nice.
Yeah.
And obviously, it just got grew so fast they had to find a new place. So
there's a lot of people there, to be fair. There's a lot of people.
You get the whole London scene, which obviously for SEO is not massive.
Yeah.
But you get all that. But
we definitely didn't do it right either.
You got to go on Thursday, have your beers.
We went on the Tuesday, and you see
the
after parties end at 12.
Wow.
We just kept on going out,
Yeah,
and it just ruined the next day, and then.
I have to make sure I write down everything because I'm usually quite hungover, and if you don't write it all down, you go back and everyone's like, what have you learned? I'm like,
so you've given your talks while you've been hungover?
No, well, to be fair, when I do my talks I'm well behaved, but then I was straight afterwards, obviously, because I've missed, because the Thursday's always been the best night out when I've gone, because that's when everyone gets down, because obviously trains and stuff. But obviously you get all the training sessions and different things nowadays, and the workshops and that, don't you? So it's like basically a full week now, isn't it?
I quite like to go on the Tuesday. I think we'll definitely do it again, go the Tuesday.
Yeah.
I went for, I don't know if you've done this, but on the beach you can get it's like a outside like tub of, what's it called again? Plunge pool sauna, it's dead nice. It's like mask, that was like a detox when it's hungover.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one, so I'll have my team in place at Misguided then, so I'll take us all down, and it's always nice to go down with the team anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. So go on, tell us about that. So the team. So you just started Misguided and you're recruiting just now. Who are you recruiting?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a blank canvas really. There hasn't been an SEO team there for a while, so I've been obviously brought in to kind of build that. Obviously recruitment has been quite tough, I think.
Just now, yeah.
A lot of people in the industry, a few years ago it seemed like the CVs everywhere, whereas now I don't know if COVID has made an impact and people have gone in a different direction. It seems to be a lot of kind of senior levels, but kind of executive manager level. Yeah, it seems like there's not a great deal out there. So, it's one of those. Do you kind of take a punt, or do you just wait until you get the perfect candidates? So, no, I've got two really, really promising new starters coming in.
What are they, SEO managers or?
Yeah, managers. Yeah. So we've got a lot of territories, obviously. So the UK and the US is the big ones for us. So we'll get a manager in for each of those. And then, when the growth starts coming, we can keep recruiting and look at the other territories. But we've got good roadmaps in place. Just need to resource them really, which is the trick, isn't it?
So you've been there 4 months. Right?
4 months.
And you were the only SEO on the team at the start.
Yeah, so we've had consultants in, we've got resource we can use. Yeah. But as anyone would probably tell you, there's no substitute for having your own team and just day on day, implementation and monitoring and things. So I've been building a toolkit up over the past 2 or 3 months, obviously, so I'm happy with the toolkit we got. Obviously using agencies for digital PR and links, but for the on-site stuff, I need to get my team in so we can just, as I say, you build up those marginal gains through on-site optimization day on day, don't you? It's not silver bullet stuff, so.
It's a lot of new things happening. So this is your agency before, now you're in-house, and quite a big company. Daunting? Do you have any
Yeah, that's kind of why I did it really. I think
the challenge.
I'd loved agency. I've done agency for the past 12 years since I started in the industry. I think I'd always fancied in-house, but it had to be the right challenge. And I think, not to disrespect the agency I worked at, because I loved working all of them, to be honest, but I just wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone and see how I got on. And the learning curve's been massive. Some of the acronyms I've had to learn around the business side of things, not SEO. GOV and margin and contribution and all those bits and pieces, which you don't need to know to do SEO, but you do need to know to contextualise what you're doing. So that's been a real learning curve. But now I'm kind of understanding it. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
So what about the kind of comms, like communicating with your superiors? That you just mentioned all these new words and stuff. Has that been quite challenging?
I think it has. I think luckily they're all professionals who have worked in big companies like Misguided before with SEO teams, so they understand the value of organic.
What you do.
You call it SEO, it's organic really, and the contribution to the mix and the halo effect that organic has. So it's not necessarily that, but I'd say the difference between agency and client side is an agency you're all pulling together.
Yeah.
You know, you all want to succeed for the client, to retain that client, to grow that client. In-house, there's not a consideration actually, it's your department and not your own agenda, but your job is to push your channels. So it's not I'd say necessarily an issue, it's just a different way of working really, where you've got to try and press upon what you need for your channel and be diplomatic about it but also then you're responsible for your results, like I said.
Okay, that's maybe a difficult one to answer, but what sort of frustrations do you find in-house just now compared to an agency? Because agencies have their own frustrations, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's different, the grass is always greener, isn't it? It's just different. And the frustrations are usually far less than, the kind of positives and what you get out of, rewarded aspects of what you do. But I guess it's just it's that SEO governance thing really, in terms of you can't just implement best practice SEO because that could, all the time, because that could impact other channels. UX teams don't want reams of content, trade team might not want everything on the menu at a certain time, promos and things like that. So I think that's the challenge at the moment. Whereas when you're an agency, you do an SEO audit and you work with developers and content writers to implement best practice SEO strategy, whereas in-house you don't get your own way all the time and you've got to pick your battles. Yeah. And and as I say, work with people because it's about revenue and ROI at the end of the day. So that's that decision between traffic versus experience and conversion and things.
Constantly thinking of the kind of second and third level consequences of your actions. So what happens if something's really good for SEO, but another manager on our team is against it? I was trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but has that come up yet? Yeah,
so a great one is interstitials, pop-ups.
Yeah.
So obviously, from a revenue perspective, there's no doubt, however, the efficacy of them. As we know, if you're too aggressive with them, Google will give you a warning, or you'll see rankings drop. But then, if you can demonstrate, the teams that have put those in are demonstrating, and that's generating X amount of revenue a day, and then I'm going away and showing that the organic revenue we're losing is negligible. As a business decision, it's not a decision, but then it's a conversation about long term. If we keep losing organic traffic, what is the strategy? So that's already popped up. But again, it's about kind of maturely discussing with those owners, because I'd be pretty annoyed if as an SEO I'd put something in that was driving loads of revenue and then someone's taken it off because of some guidelines that Google have, especially when it's driving that revenue. So that's part of it, and again part of the learning curve. But it's about finding a sweet spot really and compromising.
And what do you enjoy so far? Do you enjoy in-house? Do you enjoy?
Yeah, I love that. It's
challenge.
It's fast fashion. I mean, I wouldn't have gone to any old brand, as I say. Having done agency for so long, I think it moves daily. I've gone from monthly reporting, like most of us do agency side, or even weekly sometimes, to day on day reporting of traffic and revenue and conversion. I love that because it keeps you honest. You don't just sit back on your laurels and be like, "Oh, the SEO's bubbling over. It's nice. That's fine." It's day on day. Not that you make decisions day on day. But you need to monitor that performance, and it does just, as I say, keep you honest, keeps you. I can tell you daily what our traffic is, what our conversions have been, and things like that. Whereas I think we'll all admit in an SEO campaign, you'll look at things probably weekly at best, wouldn't you? So it's definitely the challenge we're looking for. I am enjoying it. I miss the thrill of new business.
Yeah.
Massively. Yeah. I mean that was my favourite part of agency. Going out winning clients and then obviously growing those clients and upselling. And and offering value, or I think you've probably experienced it. Working with small clients when you take them from a startup and watch them grow, and you kind of change their kind of, I'd say lives, if you know what I mean. But you change their fortunes through the digital. So you don't get that in house.
Yeah. And
I guess it's a different proposition from that perspective.
We took a company, we took them, we 5x them from about 110k to just over 500, and he's a small business competing against big brands. So that changed his life.
That's the buzz you get from it, I think. Obviously you want to take your salary home at the end of the month, and you want to be comfortable in that respect. You want to enjoy your work, but driving the results that you promise you're going to at the start of the campaign and exceeding that is a real buzz. And even when I have my mates out, if they've got local local business companies, and you did knock them up a WordPress site and build them a few links, and suddenly they're getting leads coming through their ears and they can't handle them. That's fine as well.
So what about in terms of results, right? So obviously the bigger you go, the harder it is, or the more you need to do, and more to spend, blah blah blah. Where the kind of smaller clients, you get quicker wins a lot easier. More dopamine hits. The bigger wins. Obviously, if you get one of your main keywords at rank 1, you'll be amazing. But what's it like just now? Because I got a feeling you're probably going to be up against the wall just now, trying to build all your team. There's a lot of report. I'm just trying to kind of figure that out. Like, have you had any decent ones? Can I ask that?
Yeah, no.
It's early days. Everyone knows early days. 4 months.
So, we've had issues. I think the fast fashion industry was hit quite hard generally by the core updates, because they all had common issues around quality and trust and things like that. So some brands have recovered from that quicker than others. I don't think the strategy that I'm trying to implement will probably be rocket science to a lot of the seasoned guys out there, trying to build that, how trustworthy Google perceives us to be as a brand, that authority, and whether or not those authority metrics are still judged in the same way. But obviously, intent, that shift of intent has been huge as well in terms of what kind of pages Google's ranking for certain different terms. So we're starting to see green shoots, definitely, and we know that what we're doing is going to have that impact. I think I tweeted yesterday saying I'm kind of strangely looking forward to the next core update, because
you think you're going to get it?
Well, it's a bit of a kind of shot in the arm to the algo, isn't it? Sometimes you can get things on it a bit more quickly. Sometimes things can get worse. Obviously, I'm conscious of that, but after 10, 12 years in the industry, if you keep doing these things that they, and do them properly, that they'll have the results you're looking for. And sometimes it does need a bit of a refresh. But we've kind of started. We've had audits from some of the top SEOs. We've done our own auditing. We filled all the gaps. We're fixing the issues with the brand and that had existed before. Obviously, I'm not going to say what they are because some competitors might be watching this. But as I say, it's never not worked before, so we'll get there.
So do you need to get like that second opinion sometimes? So use agencies just for the second opinion?
Absolutely, it's bouncing ideas around. It is a little bit of an art. It's not science, isn't it? There are scientific aspects to it, and there's no right or wrong answer. Every site, every domain, every sector is different algorithmically. So, it's absolutely. I think even the most kind of competent and / kind of arrogant SEO out there would never be fully confident they know everything. So, we've used consultants. I've got obviously. That's how I chat to you guys, a lot of colleagues online, and I think that's what I love about the SEO industry, is we're all quite supportive of each other, unless we're directly competing. So, definitely, and especially going into a new sector that I'd never worked in before. I was confident in my SEO, but I had to work out how the algorithm works in that sector, which has taken some time. Obviously, I'm not saying I know it off by heart, but I'm seeing what's working and what isn't, and what Google responds to and what it's looking for to rank in our kind of niches. So. Yeah.
You must be excited to build a team then.
Massively, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this bouncing those ideas around, it's not delegation, but I'm not able to. There's a lot of concepts, and we've got a lot of strategy, and we've got a lot of plans, and we know where we need to go. But it's actually what we're doing to get there, and we are doing it. It's just a kind of a catalyst for speeding all that up. And fresh ideas, and the guys that we're bringing in are going to have their own ideas as well. And just as I say. We've got a good toolkit now, which is giving us insight, but I've got 9 domains to kind of resource, so I can do all the will in the world and all the hours Imagento on my own. I can't do that on my own. So I'm really hyped for that, and just to have an SEO team to chat to, really, and just
nice having that culture and people to rely on. You'll get through a lot more, which again will results. So you said about the 2 new people. What do you look for in a manager?
In an SEO manager?
Yeah.
So it's a good question, that, because SEO manager in-house is very different to like an SEO manager in an agency. Because like an SEO manager in an agency, I've always said it's the ability to be able to manage your clients and also implement new SEO strategies, and kind of balance those two. Obviously, you've got client services to lean on, and even the MD in smaller agencies to help kind of bind that together. In-house, it's managing it, perhaps it's a strategy and like a domain, you kind of take ownership of your own strategy for your own project. So really, I think the culture comes first. I'll be looking for the perfect cultural fit, people that I know that are going to be on my wavelength, but obviously the tech skills and the kind of experience that I've got, hopefully they can glean that from me. So it's more the attitude really, and the work ethic, and knowing the culture we're going to get on, being able to sit around the table and dissect a website, go through strategy, and trust them to kind of own that and have the confidence really to put their own ideas forward as well. Because I definitely won't go with everything on my own.
So it's like the industry, trying to recruit in the industry is hard. Like we literally have one of SEO fire clients, use this words, is Australian, and he's using us to find UK talent because he just can't find talent in Australia. And people here can't find talent either. So you've now got other countries trying to steal talent from the UK. Not steal.
I just don't know what's happened really. I felt like there was a bit of a boom, I'd say, about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it was great because recruitment was, the hard thing was sifting through the CVs and you get a lot of people through the second stages. Whereas now, not to be disrespectful, but like if you see some talent, you gotta grab it because you're there.
I think a lot of the really good ones, they've all went freelance. A lot of people that have. See, I'd have thought as well, like given the fact that a lot of agencies get hit hard during COVID, then other ones just blossomed and flourished. So
the consultancy thing's huge. I think I shared on Twitter yesterday about the SEO consultant Google trend is like off the charts. And if you're young and you haven't got responsibilities, it's worth just going for it.
Yeah, give it a go. It's hard though. Like I done it for 6 months. I was pretty confident in house, and I helped in an agency, and I was pretty cocky. And the 6 months after that, when I went freelance, it was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah. It's just the instability, isn't it? There fair play to people that do it because you've got to have the balls to take the plunge and do it, haven't you?
Yeah. It taught me a lot. I think the thing is, I didn't have the sales skills, the people skills at that point. Thought I did an agency, but like you just said, you had people to rely on. And
the paperwork puts me off as well. I'm doing my own HR and admin and tax returns and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what it is for some people, because I think you back yourself to get the business, wouldn't you? And it's also, do you want to work at home on your own, or do you want to be in an office, bounce ideas off people and other teams? And then if you enjoy collaboration and that, and working from home obviously suits some people. As I say, I loved it because I got to spend loads of time with my newborn and my wife, but I was definitely ready to get back out into the office.
So how long have you been back in the office for then?
Since the start, since January. It wasn't compulsory. In fact, no one really did, but I went in because I live locally. But it's nice to have that option, isn't it?
I'd definitely go back. I don't understand why people aren't going back. I don't even like the idea of 3 days and work 2 days at home.
No, you get some pure remote agencies, and fair play, obviously they're doing really well. Obviously they're recruiting people who know that they want to work in that way, aren't they? So, but for me, there's no substitute for brainstorming around a table, especially SEO strategy and stuff. And when you just want to chat for a few hours about finances of your audit, how are we going to go about it, how are we going to resource it. That over Teams obviously is possible, but it's not efficient for me. Being able to get the site up on a screen, and again, I know you can do screen share, but I just hated it.
Yeah, not a fan of it either. Definitely challenges with growing a team, but let's touch on how you grew in the industry, because we don't have enough talent just now, so hopefully there'll be a lot of new people joining the industry through whatever means, and they need to grow. So how did you grow? What was your first job?
So it's interesting question. So I did journalism degree, but I went to uni quite late. I messed around in my late teens, like some of us did.
Partying too much.
Finally,
I feel like you like drum and bass for some reason.
Yeah, garage.
Yeah.
I do like drum and bass, but basically, and I deferred my UCAS form a couple of times, and in the end, I'm going to go. So I didn't go to that. I went when I was 20. So I didn't finish uni until I was 24. With a journalism degree, I wanted to be a sports writer. I was pretty good at writing. I was pretty sure I was pretty good and could have forged a career in that in some way. And then, got a job writing content editorial blogs for an agency in Chester for a friend, which was Inside Online, they're called Salience now. They're doing some great work still. And then quickly got onto the SEO and was intrigued by it. And I was quite technical because my dad's a programmer. I was quite creative, so SEO was kind of perfect really, because it allowed me to kind of, my ability was definitely writing at that time, but I was really interested in the tech SEO side, and then just kind of self-taught, had some pretty good mentors. Went to an agency called Ripple Effect in Liverpool, which was pretty good, and then went to bank in Manchester at Old Trafford for 6 years, where I just really got loads of autonomy from the MD, was allowed to just develop myself, develop the team. Love that, it was the kind of push by my career. And then went to BBI for a year or so before this role came up. So I kind of just fell into it through a love for content and a love for writing, and then just kind of call it a hybrid, but hopefully that helps me to kind of be technical when I need to be and creative when I need to be.
Different facets completely, like creative to you, because you are quite technical. I've seen your blogs and stuff before. You're quite a technical guy, but okay, so when you were a journalist, or even before then, would you say you were quite like a curious person? Like
yeah.
I
mean, my dad was always teaching me about how to do databases and Microsoft Access.
You always tinkered.
I was always really like fascinated by what he did, and like seeing on the screen, I was like, whoa, and like and I don't think I was ever mathematically clever enough probably to go into that. But that's what I mean about SEO being perfect, really, because you don't have to be a pure tech, you have to be pure creative, but hopefully a bit of both. It allows me to assess that, but it allows me to do a bit of both when needed. So that's what appealed to me about it, really. And I was probably more content for a long time, and then just kind of slowly moved over for tech, and then I'm probably more technical now, to be honest. Because I say I'm creative, I'm not great at kind of concepts of for digital PR, and that's why you've got to use agencies to use the real experts there. But in terms of content quality and suitability for SEO and for website copy and stuff, I still enjoy that. But yeah, I guess the tech SEO auditing stuff is still quite exciting. I still get my hands dirty with all that. So.
And how many years into your SEO experience did you think that you were confident in your skills?
I mean, I'm a bit of a cocky really, but I always knew I could be. I got it, and I knew I had to develop more. But I always got my SEO campaigns always did well.
Right.
So I think that gives you confidence. And I think probably was that ability to look technically and creatively at websites. But I suppose about halfway through my tenure at bank, where I got really looked after, and the MD there really supported me and gave me autonomy and saw something in me and allowed me to develop. I think I got promoted to SEO director there, I think in about 2016, and that's when I kind of started to get really confident that actually I could go places in the industry. But with SEO, you're only 5 minutes away from me talking to someone who's far cleverer and far more competent than you, which is what I love about it, But everyone's got carved out their own little kind of niche, don't they?
Yeah, but no, I asked it because I don't know if you remember, but earlier today we were told that there was an SEO executive that had been in the industry for 6 to 12 months and was demanding a 45 grand salary.
That's not surprising. I know you are a recruiter, but it's the recruiters I think that are contributing to that, because they're inflating salaries. And I mean, all I have to say to that is tell me how you would justify that kind of that salary. If you can come to me with a plan as to how you're going to justify that, and fine, it's not about years of experience, it's about your abilities, and if you can demonstrate that, then great. But I think I won't say what my salaries were, but I mean, it's not too long ago that I was kind of on around that salary as an SEO manager, and felt pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you're probably grafting, given the fact that, so you said that the director gave you a lot of autonomy and stuff like that. You're probably bringing a lot of ideas to the table that you just said, so the salary was probably...
Yeah, I mean, a lot of new business with that. I was quite good at, and what we did at the agency, which I really liked, is we did have a new business team, but we put the product experts in the pitches, and I was quite good at selling SEO and getting people, because the people wanted to work with me and my team. So that justified the salary definitely, because if you bring in clients in, then you quantify it. Yeah, definitely.
I guess it was sad when you walked away. Did you remember your first pitch?
I don't remember my first pitch. I do remember my first client meeting at bank, which was obviously that agency I worked on in Manchester, and I remember being fed to the lions a little bit because I didn't realise they weren't happy with the campaign, and I'd only been there 2 weeks, and I walked in and I got a proper hairdryer, proper Alex Ferguson hairdryer. I remember it today. I won't say the brand. It was in Rochdale, and they sold equipment. Right. So I remember that vividly, because I remember going there thinking, I'm going to introduce myself to him as the new SEO manager, and it was like tearing into me because of some stuff that wasn't right. But we got the account back on track, and that was all good. First big pitch, I can't remember.
Even just your first pitch, first pitch.
Yeah, actually, I didn't think about it. It was solicitors in town, actually, in Deansgate. I remember being really nervous. That's something that now I don't get nervous in pitches, so I enjoy them.
Quite confident.
You always be nervous in your first one, but I think in SEO or any kind of technical product, or any product that you can be confident in, I think people want to hear you talk passionately about the product. And I think that that really helps, doesn't it? I've been in pictures before, and sometimes does this person even care about what they're trying to sell? And I think it's easy to be passionate about SEO if you've been in the industry as long. So I think that's what they're looking for, aren't they? They're looking for a partner that they can trust. I think the nitty gritty and the strategy and stuff, most agencies are saying the same things, aren't they? So
they are. That's what
cultural
7 said, isn't it? They've said that a few times. We're just pitching the same. I remember my first pitch, and it was with Groupon, and I was bright red. Like, I felt horrible. And that lasted a few weeks. So do you think the confidence just comes over time? Because I was flogging it. Yeah, no, well, basically I had the client, but this was for a new part of the website, a new campaign. I was just flogging in, and I was so nervous.
I think something you need to get yourself into it is, and you learn how to not do that. And I think when you start looking forward to the pictures, that's what it is. It's the expectation. Or you're thinking about it and you're working yourself up, and then you end up dreading it. I think the minute you start looking forward to pictures as an opportunity to show off your work and talk about your work, I think that's when it goes, because you don't see it as a pitch, you see it as an opportunity just to chat. About SEO influence. So I think that's when it made me stop. But I think just generally, like anything, with time, maturity. I used to be awful. I remember copying up my best man speech at my dad's wedding because I was 18, and I didn't dawn on me until I stood up and looked at 400 people, and I totally choked. And now if I did that, it'd be fine. But I was 18 years old.
It's a funny.
And I didn't have a drink. I should have had a drink.
Yeah, you definitely should have.
Yeah, that was the big error.
We had David on he's out of Groupon, but he worked at Smartbox before, and I went and met him once when he was at Smartbox, so we gave him as a client, and I remember back then I used to kind of like look up at him. I probably didn't, but that's how I felt, like looking up at him. So this time we met him again in Dublin like a few weeks ago. It was nice to just like talk to him as just kind of a fellow SEO, but back then I remember just feeling like
big Sascon here when I was a young SEO, because there was no Brighton SEO then. The big one was Sascon here, and I wasn't really on Twitter too much, but you knew who the big players were in the industry, and I remember, because I was still quite young then, you'd go to the events and you'd look at them like they were gods, do you know what I mean? And obviously still do now when you see some of the more famous SEOs out there, but if I had to pitch to people like that, I wasn't calling them stuff,
their egos will go through the roof.
But you know what I mean, and you see them at the events, don't you? Like, that's...
I call them old money.
Yeah.
Anyway, would you advise a new SEO, someone joining, should they go in-house or should they go agency?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say agency, to be honest. It's where I spent my happiest years. I'm nothing against in-house at all, but I think what you get in agency is that breadth of client. You from your £1,000 a month retainer, SME, local businesses that we've all worked on, all the way up to your massive retainer household brands where you're working on full-scale digital PR and things like that. I think it's that variation that I always liked. And it's interesting going in the analytics accounts and in the search console accounts for different sectors and seeing what people are searching for, and on a day-to-day basis I used to like varying what I was working on.
It's pretty fresh.
Not that's an issue with Misguided, because there's so much to do and different domains and territories and demands changing all the time, but I remember that's what I used to love about agency was you don't know what other new business prospects were coming in and what websites you were going to get to dig into and things. So I think definitely you probably learn more quickly as a young SEO at an agency just because of that variation.
Yeah, you're probably given a lot more freedom to. I loved it, and I worked in Boy Digital. It was the best thing, and again, the director gave me a lot of autonomy. Both of them gave me so much kind of space.
That's the key thing as well. Is who your mentors are. I was taught by somebody in Macintosh who runs Evolve Search now up in Newcastle. So obviously they do work, and he was my kind of first SEO tutor, and he gave me that foundation. And if I'm with that, I might stay writing blogs and stay in the copy side of things. So I think who you work with as a youngster is probably more important than the kind of company, you know what I mean, like your mentors and who they're going to be. And there's loads of agencies that are great at just nurturing young talent, and I think that's why you get a lot of people being quite loyal to agents, especially bigger ones. But again, I'm sure there's loads of brands that in-house have the same level of support, but you don't get that variation. You're working on one website or maybe a few websites, aren't you?
You don't get that experience. I think a lot of brands are doing that now, though. They're bringing in apprentices, juniors, and then trying to build them up because it's just no talent. But the one thing I'd say about agencies, or at least the people I've spoken to in my experience, is you're not really taught how to time management early on. You're kind of forced to learn quickly yourself. Do you ever find that?
Yeah, I mean, I was left to my own device in that respect, and I'm not a super organised person.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the job you're in now, right, you've got a lot of growth tasks, a lot of analytical tasks, a lot of execution tasks.
It's a lot more difficult now than it was, though, because, I mean, not to put it too crudely, but really, when I first started in 2010, it was content and links, right?
Yeah.
And that were really the two things you had to worry about. You had to worry about core web vitals, site structure, it's important but not critical. You can stuff all your pages on a HTML sitemap, they get crawled and indexed. So, there was less to organise, if you see what I mean. Whereas now, you've got all the different pillars of SEO and all the sub pillars of those that you've got to keep regimented. So yeah, imagine time keeping skills and organisation now for tech SEO, is crucial. And then prioritisation, because I think that's one of the first things I had to teach myself. Is you can't implement everything tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then prioritisation, and then I think that's what makes good SEO. I think any SEO now can probably go and invest in loads of tools and get a nice big long list of SEO recommendations, but it's how you implement them, what order, and
figuring out the value,
figuring out value and business value of those. So I think that's probably as important as the kind of organisational skills. It's what's going to have the most efficacy at the right time.
Hard to teach them though.
Yes, I mean, I think some of it is a lot. There's a bit of gut in there, a bit of intuition, and knowing. As I say, I'm still learning now about what things work in what instance.
I got a book, gave it to Josh yesterday. It's called Indistractable. It was so good to manage your time. I'd imagine, and the office you're in as well. What's the culture like there? Because pretty little thing. I think they're all going to be similar. They have really cool offices. Young people all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really in a circle yet because I'm the old guy. And I'm on my own doing SEO. But there's a good vibe in the office. Everyone obviously gets on. You can tell they're all mates. But I guess that's hopefully from an SEO perspective go on and try and build. I mean, one of the people I'm bringing in I've worked with previously, so I know that they'll be spot on. And the other person I'm going for a beer with them tomorrow. It's going to be about building that kind of, I always say with culture, you can make your own culture in a way, can't you? Unless it's super toxic and there's nothing you can do. If you don't like the culture and change it, then breed that positivity itself. But it can be intrinsic sometimes, can't it?
Misguided is quite an extrovert environment.
I mean, the office is mad. I mean, there's rooms with selfie mirrors, and there's one room where it swings, so you sit at the table and you're like that, and it does look cool. And that's obviously been done to create a vibe that encapsulates their values, whether or not that worked back in the day, I'm not sure. But I mean, I would say the kind of general atmosphere or vibe in the office is much different to what I'm used to at agency, really. I mean, people are doing similar work. Obviously, there's product teams and buying teams and merch teams, but it's the. I was told certain things, but I've not seen any evidence of that, to be honest.
I wish I got a chance to do it. Too late now. I don't think I can go back now. I don't think I can move higher
in-house.
I just wish you got a chance to experience it, because it does look like a laugh. It does look.
That's kind of what I do. I mean, knocking on late 30s, and who knows what the next move will be for me.
It's a new challenge.
It certainly will. I think that's why when the opportunity presented itself, what I've got to lose, really. And
it's definitely a feat to build your own team as well. If you come in there, build that team, pull it off,
build the team, get that visibility where we need to. The industry is a lot different than it was a few years ago, and that's the same for all the brands. So that's something that's not, I suppose, beyond our control in a way. But I think what we've got, what I've learned over the years is what works, and for me, it's going to be hopefully walking away that visibility back where a brand like that should be. There might be reasons that will stop me from doing that beyond my control as an SEO, but it's certainly not just taking over. There's a lot to do, and every day new opportunities present themselves. That's kind of why I signed up for it, really.
So I guess I keep coming back to it because I'm intrigued. What you look for in a good SEO. So you have these 2 new managers. Do you care about the CV?
Yeah, I do. I mean, as I say, I'll always have a chat with them first, unless there's anything on that CV which is definite no. I'd never see any problem having a chat with someone. It's 20 minutes on Teams. Why not give them that opportunity?
I'm done with that now. I'm not doing the 20 minute chat anymore.
Really?
We've just had some absolute. I'll tell you what we do now after, but we've had some nightmare people coming on, totally blagged it, faked everything. Like we had, I've said
with like 15 years SEO manager experience on their CV come in and what was the upward thing?
Well, the one that annoyed me the most was the technical guy, and I've said it a few times. He said he was a technical SEO. He's on the call. He must have our questions that we asked him before. He must have Googled answers to them. So on the call. We gave him the 15-minute call, whatever it was. The first question I asked him was, can you just tell me a little bit about the audits you've been doing recently? How would you approach that and tackle that? And he goes, this is a technical SEO role. So I just get my audits from Upwork. And I was like,
wow.
Bro, just wasting my time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame because people are obviously desperate for work and they're just trying to blag it, aren't they?
Yeah. It just happened. And that was his thing, by the way. His thing, he actually had his own business. And doing freelance SEO, which is slightly scary too. But his thing was didn't make his tax done, and I was like, get an accountant.
So that's why the super demand for SEO consultants, because they're cleaning up all the crap that people like that have been probably doing.
Well, yeah, but I don't know how to work. Like, if you're spending less than £1,000 a month in SEO, you're definitely getting something like that. Just
unless it's your mate,
unless it's your mate. But I don't believe in mate shirts, you know. It's your mate against full price.
Well, yeah, I need to stop doing it really because that's not. It's hard to say no when you know you can help your mate out, but like, it's even with your mates, it's that conversation of, do you realise what you basically get is for free? So
my barber's doing my editing just now because he keeps giving me free haircuts, free fades, and I go once a week. It's maybe £25 for a fade. I'm like, can you take money off me? Take money from me. He's like, nah, bro, it's sound. I'm like, right. So I know he wants this website, so I was like, Tess, I'm going to build your website. And that was squares for a while. He's like, right, sound, bro. But I'm like, I'd rather just give you the money because, like, value your time and stuff.
It's all the maintenance and management, and then that's the thing is, like, texting me at like 3 p.m, mate, can you change this on the website now? No.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I give them the opportunity. Yeah, that's why the CVs. I mean, I've not had to do a whole lot of recruitment recently because usually agency side you've got a HR team and they'll tend to screen the CVs for you and then give you what the qualified ones, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But I do think the culture is the person. It's the person. If they want to learn SEO, I'm happy to give them the wealth of my knowledge. Like, if I believe in them and I think they're going to be loyal and work hard. And yeah, that's the hard thing. But it's happened to me before where I've spent 9 months training up someone. They've taken skills and they've done it onto MediaCom or iProspect.
I must be good demoralised now.
It is, but at the same time, if you're friends with them, you're happy for them, and if they went for certain reasons that we couldn't give them that at my current agency. So, whilst at the same time I was like fair play, and they couldn't have done that without, at the same time,
So talking about core skills, but a lot of these kind of junior SEOs have joined the industry during COVID, working from home, not getting to mingle with people. I've said this on a few podcasts, but I'm just curious, like, can you see that impact? And have you seen the impact of that yet? Like, people coming back to the office and just, do you think people just naturally come back to it because we're all human?
Yeah, I think it's a really hard one because everyone's life situation is so different. So, like, for a start, you've got introvert people who are extremely clever, great at their job, who are obviously never really into the office, but felt they had to go. I loved going to school. I always loved going to the office. I love meeting people, chatting to people, playing football, doing SEO, chatting, talking about football, all that stuff. So I think for people like that, it's easy. So like, I don't take that for granted. For people who don't necessarily want to engage people every day, or are quite introvert, and that does go with the territory with SEO. Sometimes.
Yeah, that does for sure.
And if those people are better off working isolated at home, and that's fine. So I think the positive thing about it is it's giving those people the ability, that opportunity to work in a smart way. Probably you've got people like us who want to be hustle bustle in the office and then kind of looking negative on the people who don't want to do that. Yeah. So I think with my head it's like a good thing. With my heart it's like, people should be in the office, but it's been mixed, isn't it? It's been such a mixed bag of the impact it's had. That's why I guess the hybrid thing is a good compromise. I think that's what employees are doing. It's like, well, we want you in the office full time. We're not going to demand it, probably for PR reasons. But here's a compromise, which is fair enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes I've woken up with a hangover and I've been like, right, I work from home today. Or if Bella's not been well and been sent home from nursery, then Rachel, what would we have done? If this had been 4 years ago, one of us would have had to take the day off. So yeah, you know.
Yeah, but you're, I can't say that because we see you're older and mature. A lot of these kids are just taking 3-day work weeks already.
Which is why it makes more work for us. You actually have to moderate their work. So like, I've never been really one for being a stickle checking every single piece of work my team have done. You know, I'm there to QA, but like not micromanaged. But I think we're working from home now with young staff. You're gonna have to be checking what they're doing.
I've got friends that wake up at 9, turn the laptop on, run back to bed for 2 hours.
I told my dad about that the other day.
I mean,
crying.
I'll be honest with you. In the Euros, I did a bit of that.
I mean, we've all done it. I've come into the office and like went to sleep and stuff like that. Yeah, we've all done it.
You know, it comes down to the quality of your work and the work being delivered.
Yeah.
You know, and I think what you'll have is young execs who, when it comes to probation time, review time, and they're not hitting their KPIs, and they've also not been working for hours, and they've been working from home 4 days a week. Then they'll do this all for you.
And so where do you stand on 4-day work weeks then?
It sounds good. I mean, like, I think those people on that other day are going to be more inclined to do a bit of work. So say they're doing a 4-day work week, or a pitch comes up, an opportunity comes up, and their boss says, do you mind jumping on it? They're going to have no problem saying, yeah, I'll jump in and do an hour's work, or 2 hours work.
Yeah.
Rather than it being compulsory. So yeah, I think Evolve, who I mentioned before, I know they're doing it. Agency in Altrincham are doing it. I think the whole of Holland are going to do it.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think as long as you're doing the actual work and you can show the results, it's good.
It's liberal, isn't it?
I guess it's just like, you're right, it's a lot more kind of micromanaging. And you feel bad for micromanaging. So it's kind of, literally, I don't want to say these examples, but I have so many examples. Because I want a lot of like kind of, so all the writers are remote, right? Most writers are introverts, so they prefer working at home, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah,
but
it's the quiet thing as well, isn't it, when you're writing?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, they need to get locked in, but the head down, that's cool. I think they can work from home, which why all writers do work from home. But then you've got, like, our customer support team, stuff like that. Like, I think, like, customer support, sales, like, they need to bounce off each other, even just for, like, moral support, like, high stress.
I mean, there's the ideation, and there's going for audits, and there's bouncing ideas off each other. Sometimes you do just need to sit down and knuckle down. And, like, to be fair, my work from home days, that's when I'll do my auditing. I'll go for my sideboards or whatever, or I'll do a redirect mapping, or this kind of stuff that we wouldn't get time to do in the office. So I guess from that perspective it's good. But there's nothing to say that if you're in the office, you know, agencies in place, there's quiet rooms and stuff. So I just think it's really difficult. I don't think there's a definitive answer to it really. You just need to trust people to be mature and not take the myth really.
Do you listen to Garage when you're doing your audits?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah. Locked in, so he doesn't get this.
See,
I listen to
Garage is back in now. I was ridiculed for liking Garage all through uni, all through about the 5 years after, and now it's popular again.
Yeah, down south as well. Down south was definitely, we loved the drum and bass and all that down there. You don't really get it up north, especially in Scotland.
All Wigan here and stuff like that.
But he doesn't get it. Like, I listen to like mad techno at 9 AM in the morning, pure comfort.
Don't know
how you manage that.
And depends what kind of work you're doing as well. If you're doing creative work, it's very different to doing technical work as well.
Right now I'm listening to soundtracks from movies, like Interstellar and stuff like that.
See, I get that, that's more chill, that's in the zone, that's like what we can work to. But the music he used to listen to was just like doof 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 doof. At like 9 AM, and it would like give me a headache. Like he'd be sending me, yo, you need to listen to this, you need to listen to this. So I've just stopped.
Yeah, that's why I think office playlists never work, do they? Shared playlists.
So shit, it just ruins the vibe as well. You've got. I used to be the one that was like, I'd put on like 4 like bangers and they'd like go each other so well, they would just like compliment each other, and then somebody in the office plays in some mad rock song, just ruined the vibe, man. And you need to be inclusive.
So people just start judging each other for musical taste, don't they?
So yeah, don't really like that. I guess, okay, so heads down, got a baby. Do you have any affiliate sites or any side projects?
I've got side projects, I've never done the affiliate thing. I've always felt like it's literally like don't want to sound like a twat, but like I've got no more hours left.
I was going to say, you don't have much.
And like, to be honest, I want to get to the stage now, and I've always said this from my career, where I want to get to the stage like Rach, who does the same job as me, shuts the computer at 5:30, that's it.
Yeah.
And she's successful, she's brilliant. But she just got that way of working, whereas I'm like, I'll sit brewing and I'll be opening my laptop on and then, or, you know, I'll see an email come from my phone and I feel like I've got to answer it straight away. And that's just a state of being, that's just who I am. But I do genuinely want to get to the stage, especially as Bun Bella starts getting into, you know, when she starts getting all that. I want to be hanging out with my family in the evening, do you know what I mean? I'm doing SEO. So,
where did you meet Rach? She's an SEO.
So we went to uni, but I think, did we go to uni together? No, I just finished uni, and then I met her and she was in her last year. And then I was in Chester.
Right.
And then the agency I started working at doing the blogs, just as I was leaving, she started working there. Basically on a similar journey. But she's a lot more creative than me.
You didn't propose at Brighton SEO, did you?
Didn't propose at Brighton SEO, no. Proposed in Rome.
Rome?
Yeah.
Nice, cute.
Before we went to, before we went to a rave.
Oh god, that's cool.
Jesus. So what?
Who was it? A guy that everyone says who always looks like me. Who has a black t-shirt. Oh, I can't remember. But yeah, no, but she doesn't. She's not like.
I was gonna say that.
Who would you say?
I was joking. I said Carl Cox. I was
gonna say the same thing.
I forgot his name now. It'll come to me.
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to figure out.
He wears a black t-shirt. He's got a skin and he's got like a beard and that. It'll come to me when I'm in a bit.
Yeah. Is there any DJ SEOs?
I always think about I should do a garage, you know, UK garage SEO rap, but it would just be the worst thing in the world.
Aye, should we just take over the next Brighton SEO? We'll get a boxing ring, we'll have an after party, we'll DJ.
I'd always think that. I mean, I could definitely spruce those parties up a little bit.
Yeah.
They could change a lot. By the way, if anyone from Brighton SEO is watching, do you know what you should really get Miss Susies in? Because like I could kill for a massage. And if there was someone there giving me that 15-minute shoulder massage, you'd make a lot of money. You'd make a lot of money. Make a lot of people happy.
I think someone did do an SEO tune like back in the day, but it was really, really bad. But you know, I'm planning on releasing some music at some point. I don't speak about SEO.
How are you doing it all? Like you've got all the hours now, like making music.
Well, most of my mates. That's why I was living in Manchester. Most of my mates are in bands or DJs. So they've got studios and stuff. I've always threatened it, and I would just come and do it then. But
would you say you use music to turn it off then?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do turn off at the weekend, and I do when I'm with my daughter. I do think about SEO like that. That has been a positive change.
Yeah.
And I don't really work too much over the weekends. I work long hours during the week, but yeah, if there's stuff to do, there's stuff to do. I think at agency side it was harder because if you had a new biz opportunity come in and you had to turn it on quickly and you have to work weekends. Obviously, if I was in the paid team at Misguided, there'd be weekend work to do SEO stuff. Kind of get away with leaving that to take over, but yeah, music to turn off. Yeah, really. Yeah, I still like going out with the lads and going to a lot of gigs and stuff like that.
Can you dance?
No. I still do it.
Me too. He calls it my happy dance.
Although all my mates love my dancing because they tell me to dance because they just love laughing at me. I think.
Yeah, Craig's the same. Craig surprised us. We were in Albufeira. I don't know if you're actually happy with me saying this, but we were in Albufeira one time. A good few months ago, and next thing we were in a bar that had a strip pole in it.
Yeah.
And next thing he starts jumping right to the very top, twirling and all. Mate, it was so impressive, right? But I was just like,
got up to the top.
Yeah,
dude, the whole bar stopped what they were doing and started looking at Craig, and he's like twiddling around this strip pole, and he's back up again, and we're just like, what's going on?
It's just
what music was it?
Some R&B stuff, man. It was pretty funny. I still remember his laugh to this day in my head. The cackles he let out.
Yeah, I couldn't get over it. He just started climbing this pole like a monkey and just going round and round and round.
Just up a voice, bro.
You got to do it. You got to do it, mate. Just
it was fun too.
No, I'm an awful dancer, like definitely. But I think when you've had a few beers and you're at
probably not the worst.
Warehouse project or whatever, and to get paid that money, you can just.
Started by SEO. There was a karaoke night. There was actually quite a few good singers.
That's quite a few good singers. To be fair, you can tell though that
there's loads of karaoke bars in Brighton. Though it's a bit of a culture thing. There's loads.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a duo next time.
Why is that a co-op? You wouldn't go? Yeah.
I think that's, well, we'll talk about that later, but yeah, I think the SEO, Manchester SEO scene needs a bit of...
Does, need some TLC.
Needs a bit of oomph, so maybe we're the guys to do that.
Oh, I've got big plans.
Yeah.
I'll tell you soon. Tell you guys even sooner. No, I'll tell you guys after. Tell you sooner. Anyway, got one more question then, I guess, and then we'll probably wrap up.
Sure.
Your personal brand. So, have you been actively working on it? Because you got your own site.
It's one of those, like, I've never put any budget into it.
Chip away to them.
Yeah, when I get a bit of a pan to write an article, I've never done it because I've needed work, because I've always had a job. I do get bits and pieces through it. I think it always seemed remiss of me to be an SEO and not have a website. Does it really make sense? It's not one of those. I used to have one called Young Academic, which was a blog, student blog I started when I first started, because I was fresh from uni. I'd worked for a student magazine, and I basically thought, right, well, I know how to build a website and optimise for those terms. And I used that as my guinea pig, like just build links to it, cloak links, all the stuff that they used to test it. And that was priceless, really, being able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But my personal brand now, really it's just there ticking over in the background. Just if I ever need to give it life, it's there. If you see what I mean.
I think people should work on their personal brand to get jobs just now.
I mean, I think Dom Hodgson did a really good talk at SEO about every SEO should have a side hustle.
100%.
Whether or not it's your personal brand, whether or not you're an idea for a drop shipping company, whether or not you're an idea for an app, whatever it is. I mean, it's not saying you should do it, but why not? It doesn't. You can test out your theories. Why not use the knowledge that you're acquiring to make yourself some revenue as well as your employers? The problem you've got is how much resource and time can you put into that, on top of your job. But yeah, no, my personal brand that's as organic as it comes. Really, it's a website with me on it and what I do. It's a kind of magazine site, really. But who knows? I might need to use it one day.
And the Brighton SEO, did they come to you? Did you apply?
I applied for Brighton SEO. Yeah.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was really nervous actually. Yeah, I think if I could do that talk again now, although it was only 3 or 4 years ago, you can always look back and think how you do it differently. But I'm a lot more confident as an SEO than I was then. So I did a talk there, and it actually went down really well. Got some really nice feedback. I did a training day the following year, and I got some negative feedback, and that hit my confidence quite a bit. It was a bit annoying, really, because it was just called SEO training, and that was the whole brief. And the thing I struggle when I put it together is I don't know who's coming. I don't know whether or not they're just starting or whether or not they're advanced. Yeah. So I tried to meet in the middle, and I obviously got comments from some people that it was too advanced. I got some comments from the people that it wasn't advanced enough. And it kind of upset me a bit because I'm quite a defensive person and I'm confident in myself, but I would have liked to have made it perfect for everyone. I guess looking back, I should have spoken to Kelvin and said, look, who's coming, what kind of level are they at, and I could have tailored it a bit more. And I think after that, I've not applied for conferences obviously since. I definitely want to do more speaking. But I think when you get a bit of a negative experience, then COVID happened, and then I've had a couple of kids, so I don't have all the time in the world. But that was a bit of a shame, really, because up until then I'd done SaaSCon as well, and I've done a few other talks, and they'd all gone really, really well. So things like obviously get your confidence down. No one likes bad feedback to them.
It's a good buzz, good for them. I'd like to do it, but I would be really scared of that. I think. This is the thing, see, when I used to be a DJ, I couldn't go on the mic. I was scared to go on the mic, which is terrible, because I used to have to do kids' parties sometimes, which was good money.
You can tell with a couple of babies in you, don't you? I mean, I had a Scotch before my writing too, so I took the edge off, and that helped definitely. But still, I mean, it's the thing about SEO, it's such a technical subject, and when you look up and you see people out there who you watch their talks, and you're constantly saying, it's like, am I saying the right thing? Do they agree? Well, you've got to just back yourself. I mean, I don't care if they agree, this is what I think, this is my perception of the subject, and back yourself, really. And that just comes time, you're not going to be backing yourself when you're 22, are you?
So you didn't look at the crowd and think they're all naked or anything, you just...
No, I did remember seeing a couple of, saw Barry Adams out there and a couple of others, and I was like, But yeah, I got some good feedback on my talk. The training day was a bit of a shame, but I guess that's the natural with something like that. You're never going to please everyone with something like that.
SEOs are opinionated though. We're all opinionated.
Yeah. I guess they had to give me the feedback. Maybe I'd like to go back and do another one and show them and do it right this time, maybe.
We got feedback about content holiday, and I was shocked because it's the complete opposite to like 99% of the content we do. And I read it myself, and I still couldn't get, because I was annoyed, I was upset. I was like, there's no way this is what you're saying it is. And I read it back, and it was nothing like they said. And he's like, I'm just taking the work from a content manager. I'm like, I don't see what's wrong with it at all.
Yeah. It's going to happen, isn't it? Like, if you can't, especially with your own company, like, you're going to take any feedback.
Yeah.
I think what you have to do with anything like that is, I'd go to bed and read it again in the morning, isn't it? Like, don't email straight back.
Yeah, bite your tongue.
So I've got a client at the moment at an agency, isn't it? You have to, your first reaction is, that's not true.
Really emotional. I'm quite an emotional person though, so I definitely bite my...
I don't have much emotional intelligence, unfortunately. But what I have learned is to just let the red mist fade, go and even the next day go back or whatever, and then go back properly. But yeah, when you're passionate about something, you don't want to hear people slagging it off, do you?
You would just see red, wouldn't you? I'm joking.
That's why Rach is like, I always say Rach. I always, whenever I reply to something, can you read this for me? She'll be like, no, you're not saying that.
Yeah, something you need to get better. I need to get better at it for sure. Okay, last question. This is the last question.
It's fine, keep going.
Where's the industry going? Where's SEO going?
Yeah, it's not dying. It's not dead. I think if anything, like it's more essential because Google's got loads better at helping us out. I think when I started, it was still seen as a bit of snake oil or a dark art. Matt Cutts was there giving feedback and things. I think John Mueller's amazing. Like, fair play the job that guy does because like he gets so many stupid questions. People, I'm not saying stupid. What I mean is people asking him to essentially do their SEO for him. Like, what should I do? At the end of the day, he's there to answer where things are ambiguous or where there's case uses. So I think there's a lot of resources out there. But what it's showing us is Google's trying to invest in SEO in terms of making sure that webmasters know how to build the best websites. Fastest websites, most usable websites, and that's there's no doubt that John Mueller's there to assist SEOs. So that didn't exist when we got into SEO. I think what that does show us is that it's always going to be needed because you've got all these platforms, all these CMS, that people decide to use for their websites that come out of the box in quite a bad way and need SEO maintenance, don't they? And I think. What has changed is obviously the authority side of things and whether or not links are still as useful or what kind of links do you need and
where do you stand?
Yeah, I mean I'm seeing straight away now links are definitely less effective than they used to be. I think I was chatting to Carrie on Twitter once and I think we both agreed that the direct and brand traffic you get from a digital PR campaign can be far more valuable than any of the links within in terms of Google seeing that you're a relevant brand and that you're driving direct and brand traffic from your awareness pieces. And what are those awareness pieces? Because you've actually built a great product or because you're doing a great campaign? Not to say those links aren't valuable, but from what I'm seeing from personal projects and from stuff outside of Misguided, just general link building isn't as effective as it was. Then again, it's sector specific. Local SEO links are still massive. I think if you're starting from a fresh link profile and you start building links, then you're going to see gains pretty quickly. So I'm not saying they're not needed, but
I think each type takes you to a certain level. I think the old school guest posting takes you to a certain level.
Blogger outreach and all that stuff.
Then you need the PR, but I think PR also takes you to a similar level. You need it all. You need a nice mix.
It's whether or not you're looking at hyperlinks, isn't it, as something you need, or do you need coverage that's going to drive awareness, which invariably there's a link to your website. What's driving the value there though? Is it the fact that it's making people search for your brand or making people go directly to your website, or is it that hyperlink that exists in an article that's eventually going to get buried? But obviously you do need that solid foundation of a profile. But if you're a credible brand, that should come. So I think Google's testing that link for SERP and it's still probably pretty terrible. I'm not saying that links are dead and they should be used. I just think obsessing over like DA and how many links you've got on certain DA websites and things might not be the best idea. But it completely depends on the competition, doesn't it? As I say, if you're the man with the man in Manchester and you've built a new website and he wants to get ranking pretty quickly in the local pack, you probably tell him to get some citations and get link building going. If it's Nasty Guy versus Misguided, is a handful of links going to make much difference? Probably not. So, horses for course really, but digital PR is hugely valuable, but just not obsessing over.
I'm smiling so we could go in a rabbit hole. We could do a complete rabbit hole. Link building's a funny one.
The affiliate thing at the moment is the big one, like because all the publishers that are putting affiliate, affiliating their links, and are they passing equity? Probably not. Are they passing value if people click through to them? Maybe. All the publishers have retrospectively added like A-Win affiliate links to all their old links, so the profiles are all over the place. So I think, again, that just shows not to say that those affiliate links are useless, but if that coverage isn't driving direct or brand, is it passing SEO value? Is the question. I don't know the answer to that.
Are you running a lot of tests just now?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah. I mean, our profile's strong because we've got a lot of legacy as a brand, and it's not too far off competitors that are smashing us like the wall. So it's looking at what those links do in terms of referral traffic, passing value, no follow versus follow, and that's what's leading me to that conclusion. Really, is that obsessing over the actual hyperlink aspect of digital PR might not be the most sensible thing to do. Would I be saying that if we were DA 50 and needed another 20,000 referring domains, I'd probably be looking to try and get links left, right and centre. It's because we're quite similar, but it's all relative to the size of the competition, isn't it? But it's just links. Is it links you want, or is it PR?
Fair, no comment from me. I'm biased, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation will be different depending on the sector. I'm sure there's those of industry where it's super effective still because the competition might be lower or the competitors might be more achievable. I guess I'm talking as someone who's 5 or 6 of my competitors have got DAs in the 90s. So, as I say, like handfuls of links here and there, I'm going to cut through.
Yeah. No, it's fair enough. I think it just as well. Like travel's opening back up. Are you seeing the trend of people that are buying loads of like travel clothes and stuff like that? Or like, how's that impacting?
Festival season's higher than it has been for 3 or 4 years. The demand at the moment is higher than it was in 2019, which is obviously pre-COVID levels. So yeah, we're starting to see that. Obviously, the cost of living issue is there though. So it's like. The demand that people want stuff, but can they afford it? Should they be buying clothes when they're worried about their energy?
That's why I think that Klarna stuff is just dangerous.
Klarna, and we've got it all. As most e-com sites will have. We've got ClearPay, Klarna.
I just think for some people, like I know people back home, my friends that go paycheck to paycheck, but then they're in debt the next month because they've forgotten about the payment that they were meant to do. Things like that, but
that's where ClearPay tried to be better because it's segmented over a few months and it's quite low interest. But I mean, I think I've got a feeling I heard someone saying about there's some new regs coming in which is going to be clamping down on that a bit more.
Oh, really?
But I guess for some people, if you use it correctly, it's like the whole payday loan thing, isn't it? If you do it maturely, then it's a good facility, isn't it?
Yeah, but 8 planes went by there. That's why I asked about the.
What's that?
But 8 planes flew by there.
Festivals, holiday wear. Yeah, I think that's going to burn. That's what I think a lot of us in this industry probably are having our hat on is this summer kind of booming. But at the same time, these cost of living and the energy bills is going to be hitting our demographic probably worse than most demographics.
Crazy.
People on low incomes, like what's more important, paying your bills or buying a maxi dress.
It's scary, man. Like the cost of living, I couldn't even go. I went to Sainsbury's to shop, and I was like, "How is this that expensive?"
I mean, we even just seeing like our weekly shops. We got a little one now, but it's about an extra 40 quid compared to
fuel prices and so on.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's going to be this year, and it's kind of like normal. But it's just a shocker for people, isn't it? They got through the pandemic, and now we're going through it, and then you've got to contend with this. But
hopefully. Yeah. Okay, sweet, Charlie. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I don't think we'll see the last of you, hopefully. And let's go and grab a beer.
Good grab a beer and.
Something outside, look at the sun. It's nice.
Let's go and plan a mega SEO conference.
Big ideas,